Hello everyone, BigDoss here and welcome to another video. In this video we're gonna look at a Tazavesh Streets of Wonder plus 18 I did earlier as a Beast Mastery Hunter. I made a poll for you guys and you guys voted for this dungeon, and so this is what we're gonna do. We're playing Night Fae in this dungeon, and well, we'll see just how it goes, things that I do and things that I do not do. So for example, on this first pool, I decided to just pop my cooldowns. Although it is not the best pool to pop your cooldowns, it is only a 3-pack pool, and because we are Night Fae, our Night Fae Covenant ability, Wild Spirits, double hits. So on that front, it's actually kind of good to deal a significant amount of burst damage. Besides that, on the Spiteful, as you could see right there, I decided to use my binding shot to bind them and be pretty safe from them. During this pool we're going for This is like the most common thing to do at the moment, and yeah, it is good for our cooldown reduction. I'm not actually sure if it is the best for Beast Mastery. I think haste is also pretty good, and having haste for 45 seconds is not bad either. There again, try and binding shot those mobs. This time the other hunter, which is a survival hunter, is using them. And guys, if you like this video, then consider leaving a like and subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a ton. I thoroughly enjoy making these videos, and if you guys have any feedback for me, things that I should do differently, things that I keep on doing, then let me know. The specialist that you saw over there, before I'm gonna talk about that, here I'm using my Wild Spirits, and I doubt if it was actually a good idea. The pool was almost done, and so it might not have been worthwhile. On the other hand, we are still fighting a Overseer at the end of my Wild Spirits, and so on that front it was not actually that bad. But alright, coming back to that specialist from earlier, there's one in this pool as well. They have a ability called Stasis Beam. There you can see it. On this front I actually kick it with my interrupt, and the previous one, what I did, I used my stun for it. And it is important that you make sure that you interrupt this ability if you can, because it stuns someone in place and really ruins their day. So try and do that. Again, Spiteful, just use our binding shot to keep them at bay. It makes it just that much easier. For the routing, I do not know this tank. There was not a route shared, which, if I'm fair, I never share a route as well when I'm playing Protection Paladin. I think it is important to share a route if you are doing things that are way different than normal, or at least communicate about them. Here it was not that big of an issue, but after this first boss you will see something that is quite, in my opinion, weird. And if he told that at the start of the dungeon, it wouldn't have been a problem, but because he did not tell it, it was a bit of an awkward situation. So I have my Wild Spirits up. I'm of course not going to use it because I really want to use the burst damage on the boss. This boss, which is coming up, is not that bad. What I do decide to do is use my Aspect of the Wild. And why do I do that? I use my Aspect of the Wild here because I have the conduit. The conduit that if you crit on a kill command, then you will reduce the cooldown by, I think it's 2.5 seconds or something. And we are using a lot of kill commands because we are using the ability or the talent trait, where if we are in Bestial Red, every Cobra shot will give us a free kill command. So this means more kill commands, more critting kill commands. You kind of get the feeling. You get what I'm going for. Alright, so here it's going to get awkward. Has spawned. I decided to throw my Wild Spirits, and the tank instantly start moving. Luckily, I think this boss he actually holds in place. Oh, not even. Here it goes. So now we lose about, I think, 8 seconds of our Wild Spirits because the tank moved out of it. And later on in the dungeon you will see this problem again, where I put my Wild Spirits down, assuming that we are going to stay at that position, but we sadly do not. All right, so here, first thing first, I try to feign death. It doesn't get it off me, so I turtle, and then it instantly cancels. So that is something that you can do to make sure that this goes smoothly. I was a bit slow on swapping sides. I saw him throw down the shield, and like I got a couple of hits in which were absorbed by the shield, so that was a bit awkward. I should have placed myself on the other end better, quicker, to be honest. Alright, so here our shaman is targeted. We make sure we move out of the way, because we do not want to be standing in front of the boss in this instance, because it does actually, I think, one-shots us at this level. So yeah, we pay attention to that. But guys, I am very curious, what do you think of these videos? Do you like them? Do you think there is something that should change? I am making these for quite a while now, and I've also noticed that, well, people are not watching them as much, which is fine. If it's not your cup of tea, then I can understand. But for me, it's quite interesting to see why. All right, so here you can see the tank skip this back with the how do you say that? With the how do you call them? Encrypted affix, and I think it's quite easy for us to get a little bit of count here, but also to get like maybe a haste buff or something like that to keep on using. But that's fine. Like here, one of these mobs, I think, yeah, there it is, the cast hard light barrier. If that goes through, then that will give a massive shield, which you with your again, terminology, guys, it's terrible. Well, with the shot that you can tranquilizing shot, I knew I would come up with it, but with your tranq shot you can remove that barrier, and it really helps out your DPS. Or it doesn't show on your DPS, of course, but it really does help out. So try and do that. Now we just keep on going, and we luckily do not get hit by the barrier. Tank guides backwards onto the next pull, which is quite nice. And now we're doing this pull. And I'm holding my interrupt. I'm looking, I'm focusing, seeing which one is going to be interrupted or not, and I make sure that I at least kick one of them. Besides that, I always use my barb shot on both targets. It's important that you have your barb shot bleed up and running on both targets. This is, I think, one of the biggest ways to just keep on damaging in like these kind of scenarios, so make sure that you do that. This is something I'm gonna do when I'm tanking this dungeon as well. I usually do this enraged dire horn, and I pull him on top of the stairs, like snapshotting him and then doing it single target, but he doesn't really deal that much damage, so it is actually quite good to just simply bring him here and just finish him off here. Well, this was a bit awkward because I used Wild Spirits to instantly get stunned because I was not paying attention to it properly, but it's not really that big of a deal. And here I make sure that I do move out of the way, and we burst this back down nice and quickly. We make sure that we run. And now this tank has quite a nice and high pace. English, difficult. And I like what he's doing here. I think this is very efficient to get this pack right in at this point. So I have to say I really like this. Instead of doing like two pulls, like make it one pull. Maybe it was good to go for Vi here, so you have Vi into the boss instead of It was not called out, we did not do it on purpose, everyone just always goes for of course. But that could have been actually a good call. You really do not need woe for this one. But yeah, I like this strategy on this one. And now the tank called out to get Vi on this one, so that's what we're gonna do. And now we're doing this boss. This boss is for some reason always a bit tricky. Not the first phase, not really the second phase, although you do need to really burn him down quite quickly. But like the how do you say it, the last phase is always quite tricky, especially with the dodging and stuff. It's not really that hard as Beast Mastery though, but I see for a lot of people it is actually quite awkward. And now we just simply Wild Spirits away, or not Wild Spirits, Soul Shape away, because that's easy. And this guy really needs to die, actually quite quickly. It would have been an idea to use or keep my cooldowns for this moment, but yeah, you want to have it as much up as often. Damn, English is hard this morning. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, holding him for this guy and having him down before the next boss shows up is actually quite nice, because this guy does actually hit your tank quite hard with this flagellation protection, blah blah. So yeah. But we are burning him down quite nicely. As BM, we of course do quite a lot of single target. That is always good to do. So yeah. Our its enhancement shaman is not really doing that much single target at the moment. I do not know what the damage profile of that spec is, to be honest. I just do not know. I've never played with one, or well, not with one that I've talked to at least. So for the Chains of Damnation, I hope the tank will use his Hand of Freedom, and this is the moment where, yeah, I got a bit sad because my Wild Spirits is just laying there and not doing anything. And if I had it up, then that would have been, I would have been doing a lot more damage. I had the feeling that the chains were aimed on me, and that's why I used Feign Death, because I thought that if she targets me and I Feign Death in the last second, then maybe it will cancel the effect. Don't know if it happened, but I couldn't find anyone who was chained, so I think it worked, or the tank used Hand of Freedom at the right moment, which could also be the case. Now always try and dodge these bombs if you do not have the circle on you, because if you do not have the circle on you, then it will actually reduce the damage that you deal. So yeah, here I'm sticking a little bit by the person that is actually soaking them. There I reduce my damage by 10%, which is absolutely dumb. I should not have done that. Not on purpose. I did not do that on purpose, but yeah, I should have paid attention to that more. And now we finish off this boss nice and quickly. And because we pulled the guy on the left side, the two guys with the encrypted affix earlier, we can now continue walking just that little bit quicker, which is a nice call. I do not know why I'm standing. Oh yeah, I'm asking for the tank to hold him in Wild Spirits. I was like, what was I typing back then? But yeah, it's because I got sad. That's all. Now I'm not gonna use my Wild Spirits on this. I really do not want to. I want to hold that. I am actually going to use my Aspect of the Wild though, because again, the conduit, so I have it up quite quickly again, and so it's worth doing that. Furthermore, just stand here. When people get chained to you, you can just, like the healer for example, can just stand next to me as well, and it's all fine. You don't need to worry about anything. It's so easy. I used my stun there. I should not have used my stun there. I should have used my frost trap there. I liked what the monk was doing, but yeah, the tank decided that we needed this guy, so yeah. And now, as you can see, my pets there actually start pulling. So I decided to get my pets away, but I got hit and the tank was not ready to grab aggro yet, so I died again. First in my pod tender, and then I died again. I see on the top right that the portal is open, so that's why I'm releasing and going back so I can respawn. But that was bad from me. That's terrible. I want to say game design, but that's not fair. I should pay more attention to what my pets are doing. That's the downside of playing a pet-based spec like Beast Mastery Hunter or anything. That shit just sometimes happens. And here again, I throw down my Wild Spirits, and the instant I throw them down, the tank starts moving. Luckily he comes back, but this is like the third time this happened this dungeon that I died, or not that I died, but that my Wild Spirit just is not as effective because the tank just keeps running around. And a lot of damage is actually coming from Wild Spirits, as you can see in the end of the dungeon. So, yeah. Here I see that no of these spirits are on me, so I decide to stand in that haste circle for just a little bit to be just that little bit quicker. Now I just backpedal to safety, of course. And I do not know what we're doing right now. I think that there it is. So not for everyone it was clear what we are doing, but the tank actually did go back in to pull this next pull. Sadly our shaman died, but he has Ankh because shamans, and why not give them that very powerful ability to correct one of their fuck-ups. So that was actually quite nice. This pull, nice and easy. I can't stand in the haste bubble because my sprite is my spiteful is coming towards me, so I can't stand in the haste bubble. You really want to do that. Throw a frost trap to prevent it from following, but yeah, it's not good enough. And here we focus the postal worker. I'm going to like mostly single target now because I want that postal worker to die before the male elemental dies. Because when the male elemental dies, as you guys know, you will get a haste zone, and that is actually quite important. So I am standing in the haste zone, we are having bloodlust, and I'm using everything I have. So at the moment I'm at 207% haste, which is intense. And as you can see right now, I'm popping out a lot of kill commands and a lot of abilities, and I think my yeah, there it is. My Wild Spirits, no, not my Wild Spirits, my Aspect of the Wild is almost back up again. As you can see right now, my Aspect of the Wild, I used it at the start of the pool and I already have it again. That is just the insane amount of speed that you can get with enough haste and a lot of kill command crits. It's really, really nice. So having a high amount of crit and a high amount of haste is actually really beneficial for us as BM. Now I'm going to stand in one to prevent this giant puddle to become even bigger. I want to hold that back just a little bit. And yeah, here it is. I think I get targeted. I make sure that I run away from the party, and I will use my turtle to prevent the damage, but also prevent the damage on the party, because that's actually quite important. If you want to reduce the damage that is being thrown on the party, then that is one way to do it. And here I'm just looking. I sadly have to walk through a little bit, and that shit does damage quite a lot. But yeah, now we just start to burst this guy down nice and quickly. What our hunter did there was not the smartest call. The heater or the burner was down, and he still threw the package on it, and that package will stay there. And I don't know who picked it up, but someone picked it up, and instantly brought it to where it actually needed to go to blow that one up there. Because if you leave it there, then the damage is quite high and you will get a debuff, which takes quite a lot. And yeah, that's just, it's a massive pain in the ass. So we got the drums. I look at the minimap, I know where to go. Luckily our tank does know where to go as well. He is of course very slow because he's a paladin and paladins are incredibly slow. But as hunters we are not that much quicker, to be honest. So I'm just following this guy. So we have this what is it? Dunes of Madness? Something madness. Mortanis, not madness, damn. Me speaking English and reading English is terrible this morning. Oh well. That is what you get when you're not a native English speaker. Then that shit happens. And now on to the next boss. And also one of the bosses I actually do really like. Or I like the idea of it with you playing an instrument and having to do some mechanics. I think it's how do you say that? I think the boss fight itself is just that little bit too easy. It's just too easy. But I like the mechanics of it, and what you can do, and I will show you when we start doing this fight, is there will appear notes when the boss drags everyone in. There will appear notes, and if you hit them, you will continue on your haste buff. Because at the moment I'm at like 70% haste, and that is of course really good, and you will be able to continue that massive haste buff if you are making sure that you hit the notes when you get away from the boss. And now we just continue onward. Easy peasy. We reapply the haste buff. I use my misdirect for the tank to gain threat on all 4 of these mobs, because they spawn quite far apart, and yeah, it's nice for him to get that just that little bit extra aggro. It's really nice. Dodging the green circles though is quite important on this fight, because it deals quite a lot of damage, and I think that's why our shaman almost died there, because he got hit by one. So yeah, there I was too late with my stun. I should have used my stun just a little bit earlier to make sure that I do hit the teleport, or prevent the teleport. That way we can just cleave easier, which is important. Yes. So if you guys are still watching this, then well, I think leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and leave feedback for me. Would be also greatly appreciated. Yes. Now onto this boss, and here you just want to go for you want to burst this gun as quickly as you can, and now he's soon gonna drag us in, so we're just gonna dodge the green circles, and now I'm letting myself get dragged in and looking for the notes. I see the notes, I hit them, and as you can see I have my haste buff up again for the quite the full duration again, which is nice. And now we just start to burst this guy down, lay on the hurt, lay on the critting kill commands, so we can have our aspect of the wild up more often. And as you can see, it's almost up again, and I just used it, so here we have it again. And yeah, that is really nice. So here I'm looking, I can't really see it, and I just use my instrument away. I missed my notes, but for some reason I still managed to get the haste buff again. So I don't know what's that all about, but That was lucky.
It has been an age since I witnessed such a vigorous show.
And now onto the last boss. One that can be really awkward. It is really not that difficult of a boss, although I do not understand how it is so different sometimes. And because we are going to do this boss in the next season, it is, or this dungeon, so it is quite important to make sure that we focus on it as well. So here I get whispered by the other hunter. My sound fell out again for some reason. But I'm back again with at least my sound. I think for you guys it didn't change. But I get a compliment from the other hunter about my BM play. I don't know if it's actually good. It is good enough for an 18 and it should be good enough for a 20. And I don't think that a lot of people are playing that much of a higher key, especially when you're watching me, because I'm really not that big of a pro. So not that big indicates that I'm not. So yeah, just, you know what I'm trying to say. Go with it. Now on this boss, what I was trying to say earlier before I got distracted by the beeping sound, because I have the attention span of a small child. On this boss, sometimes these circles that he's doing right now, sometimes he does them like a lot. I do not know why that is. Here I should have stepped into the red circle to get into the, well, not red. I should have stepped in the circle to get to another circle to get over here quicker. I did not do that. While tanking this boss, please do not tank on the point where he's actually gonna use his divide. You can see my mouse moving. Like, if he casts divide right now, then literally half the group will be on one side and the other group will be on the other side for no reason. Just tank him next to one of these portals and you're always good to go. And the entire group, especially as a tank, if you lead it, the entire group can easily follow you. There is no reason to tank him like dead center. Do not do that. Alright, so here we got the divide again, and now we have 2 portals at our disposal, so this is actually quite good. Now we go to the other side, there we go, and he just teleported, so I'm assuming he's gonna stay here. That's why I'm gonna use Wild Spirits. And like, for example, this time he is like not using that ripple thing too much. I think he's like, here's the second time or third time maybe, and that's it. I don't know. It's so how do you say that? I'm just gonna turtle this, then you can walk through, no biggie. But sometimes I have dungeons where he does it like 3, 4, 5 times almost in a row, and then it just absolutely murders your group because you can't really dodge. So I don't know how that mechanic works, if there is something that I am not aware of, but yeah. So guys, that was this run. I hope you liked it. I really enjoyed making this guide again. I enjoyed playing BM again as well. I should do on stream maybe sometime. So let's see what I think I'm gonna pull up the damage charts right away. Maybe. Am I? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do that soon. Come on. Not future me, past me. What are you clicking at? There we go. Just click on it. Yeah, there we have it. Let's pause the video right here. So most of the damage is coming from Wild Spirits. Cobra Shot is pretty high on the list, but we have, of course, boss week, so a lot of single target encounters and long in single target, so that makes sense. Our Beast Cleave is pretty decent. Barbed Shot, I think, is 84% uptime on Barbed Shot. If I... Oh, 82%. There we go. So you can see it over here. That is also pretty decent. It's not the best, but it's okay. But guys, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.